Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well, then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. One of the biggest struggles I see with business owners is this idea that their cash is somehow disappearing, that their money is no longer in their bank account despite being profitable. And we've talked on the show many times about the importance of cash flow. And this episode is not just about cash flow, but it's about this awareness of where your money is actually coming from and where it's going to, right? And I'm going to unpack an example from a recent CFO power session that I did with a client. But I also want to shed light on a key element that you may be missing out in your business when it comes to where your money's actually going. And that is, if you look at your cash flow, if you look at how you're actually bringing money in and paying money out, and I'm not talking about income and expenses only, by the way, one of the biggest things is, are you taking cash out of your business personally? Are you taking personal expenses through your business, or are you taking cash out of your business to pay yourself? And paying yourself is not bad by any stretch. That's kind of the point, isn't it? To be able to pay yourself. But if you're taking out more cash than the business can afford to pay you to be able to sustain its operations, then that's not a good thing. So you have to make sure that you're not only meeting your own personal cash flow goals out of your business, but you're keeping enough in the business to sustain itself. And one way to measure how to do that is doing a really good cash flow forecast. So, I'm going to tell you the story about a power session I did recently and how we were able to unpack this business owner's situation. There were two major takeaways from our power session that I want to go through. One was in doing an actual cash flow forecast, in actually examining the timing of when income and expenses were coming and going. We realized that in order to hit her cash flow goals to pay herself more, and by the way, she was not paying herself much money at all. But when she realized that this is how much I wanna pay myself, and we backed into, well, how much revenue has to come in for your firm in order for you to pay yourself that, it was astounding to find out that the difference maker, the one thing that had to change in order to really move her in that direction, was she had to bring on 2 new clients a month. That's it. And when I told her that, it was kind of this sit back in the chair, sigh, "Huh, that's all it takes?" Yeah, as long as they are of this price point, this type of client, right? And that became way more doable. And then that turned into a really easy ability to then break down into smaller steps. Okay, so if I can sell 2 new projects a month, maybe it's not new clients, maybe it's just 2 new projects, right? Maybe I can email existing clients and get an upsell from them twice a month or 2 of those a month. Maybe I can get a new referral by asking my clients for a referral once a month. Making it minor goals. One small actionable step of ask a prior client for a referral once a month. Ask a prior client for an upsell, obviously convey the values, et cetera, but find a way to upsell or get a referral once per month. That's 100% doable if you're focused on that. And when you can convert those goals into smaller steps, you'll be unstoppable. This is how you succeed. This is how you win. Instead of sulking in the I'm not making enough money, I just need to make more money. When you can channel that direction into specific actions, it's way more likely to be accomplished. Now, in looking at the cash flow forecast, we realized, okay, you only need to bring in 2 more clients a month. That's amazing, right? In order to distribute this much money. What we also realized was happening was when you're distributing a certain amount of money, you're pulling all the cash out of the business, right? In the current state of the world. So, what you have to be careful of is that your business is what I call eating what it kills, right? Your business has to be bringing in enough money and then some to pay you. And this is the number one thing I see with most business owners. This wasn't the case in my power session, but the number one thing I always see with business owners is that you guys are paying yourselves and taking money out of the business at a faster rate than it can replenish. So if you're pulling $10,000 a month out of a business that's generating $8,000 a month in cash flow, that's not good. You're depleting. You're depleting the reserves. You have to make sure it's like calories, calories in, calories out. You'll gain weight, right? If you eat more than you exercise. So you got to make sure that you are replenishing the dollars that you're taking out of the business. That is huge. Now, another big takeaway from our power session was surrounding this idea of clients versus revenue. And this is another reason why you may have a distorted picture of how much money you actually bring in your business. So, in this particular case, this was eye opening. As we were getting used to the rhythm of the power session and we were getting settled in, I was going through a series of questions, right? And I was going through, okay, how are you bringing in revenue? What are your sources for referrals? And it was this insurance company that offers, referrals and offers clients to her practice. Now, this is true also of clients I've had in the nutrition space, in the medical space, any type of provider where insurance can cover the service for the client. So this insurance provider was providing clients to her and she said, 50% of my clients come from this insurance provider. And I said, okay. What I failed to ask initially, which we later discovered, was, okay, they bring in 50% of your clients, but how much of your revenue is attributed to that source, right? That is a very different question. You would think 50%, right? In the assumption. But let's dig into it. It was actually a case where what happened was the insurance company was sending in the referrals, but they were chopping off 80 to 90% of a haircut before my client got the money, meaning they were only giving her 10 to 20% of the total amount of money for the service. So she was making 10%, let's say, of the value of, like, let's say it's $1,000 service, she makes $100. That's probably not even enough to cover the labor. She's probably losing money on those deals, right? But they're coming in at high volume, so it feels like she's making a lot of money from them, right? Feels like a lot of the activity, a lot of the clientele that's coming in are coming through that insurance provider. So this is a big mistake we make in entrepreneurship, especially in the professional services and healthcare realm, where it feels like the more we do equals the more we make. And that's not the case. If you come from a billable hour structure like accountants and lawyers do, then we're used to, okay, the more I am working, the more I am billing, and the more I am making in my bottom line. May not be the case. So when these kind of flat fee projects come in at that rate, you just work through them, you get them done, and then you look up and realize, I didn't make any money on this. Why? And it's not just overuse of labor or your costs, but this referral source was actually bringing her in 10% of what it should have been. And then when we looked at the total revenue, this is the eye-opening part, was the revenue, even though 50% of the clientele came in this way, only accounted for about 15% of the total revenue for that service, maybe even 10%. So if you could cut out half your clients, cut out half your clients and still make 85 to 90% of what you're used to making and open up your capacity to bring in more, you can grow drastically. And what was happening was she was belting herself in from this growth. She was prohibiting it, pulling the e brake on her own revenue growth because this insurance provider was providing all these leads, which converted into some type of currency in her mind that it was a lot of business coming in, right? We get caught up in this. We all do. That the more clients come in, the better. The more things I sell, the better. But you have to be looking at the individual profitability of that offer. You have to be looking at, more doesn't equal better if you're losing money on each one. It's just the truth of it. And also that cash flow doesn't equal profit. Like just because you're bringing in a lot of money doesn't mean you're also not spending a bunch of money. So I would encourage you, I would challenge you, take a good hard look at your numbers, good hard look at how your revenue comes in, break it down and say, okay, what are the different ways I earn money? If one of these channels got shut off tomorrow, would I still survive? Is there a channel of my revenue that I actually want to shut off? And if I did, what would happen? If I got rid of all the revenue from that channel and its associated costs, what would be the actual impact to my business? I think you'll be surprised to find out that you may have one sort of revenue stream that's just kind of lagging along. You're making money on it, but you're also spending money on it, barely making any money on it, but you're spending a lot of time on it. And you may not realize that it's basically dead weight. You're carrying this extra dead weight for no reason, where you could be focusing that time you're spending on delivering that offer on something bigger. You could be focused on a higher profitability offer. You could be focused on marketing instead of waiting around for referrals to come your way where their referral fees are so expensive, it's not worth it, right? So that was a huge lesson learned in our power session. And that was something that I don't think would have been uncovered if the right questions weren't asked, right? So this was an absolutely huge breakthrough for her. I'm so excited to see where she takes her firm and her practice going forward because now she can unlock this new level of growth. And I'm really excited to offer these power sessions and to have more of these breakthroughs with entrepreneurs just like you. So here's what I'd like you to do. If you want to participate in one of these power sessions, if you want to sit with me for 2 3 hour sessions, which is how I've been structuring them, it could be one day, but Lord knows you and I will be exhausted. We could do 1 or 2 day power sessions and really just dig into your business. How are you making money? What is it costing you? What are the changes you need to be making right now to set yourself on course for the right direction in your business to grow or to achieve your personal goals? That is what we focus on in these power sessions. If you want to participate in one of these with me personally, text me the word power, POWER, to 860 609 6374. The link will be in the show notes to text me. I would love to chat with you more about how we can help you in your business personally and ensure that you are moving in the right direction. I can't believe how many episodes we've released of Keep What You Earn. There are literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in tax savings contained in our episode library. And there are so many topics that we cover. To make it easier to find more of what you need right now, we actually created a custom curated playlist just for you. That's right, a playlist of value-packed episodes that you're looking for based on your goals right now in your business. Whether you're making your first sale, trying to strategize your taxes, or you're scaling your team, there is something here for everyone. Check out the podcast playlist generator now using the link in the show notes and explore your custom playlist. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.